Hey guys, Mo Muller here. Welcome to the channel. And today I'm going to be giving you an introduction to a case study that I'm starting up pretty much this month and just work through what I'm doing with the case study and hopefully find some immense amount of value so you guys can follow along and help you in your journey as well. So, as I mentioned, I'm doing a case study. It's going to be a content site and it's going to be in the affiliate marketing space. So if you're kind of familiar with niche websites and how they kind of structured and how they run, and you want to see someone building it from scratch, from the ground up, then this case study is going to be for you. So let's get into it right now. Um, it's super simple, kind of the concept of a case study. Of course, like as I kind of was going through my journey several years ago, one of the cool things I used to see on people's kind of YouTube channels and social media accounts was case studies, and it just kind of made sense because you'd see them doing what they kind of claimed to be doing, but in real time, so you could follow along. So I'm going to do the same because like I said, kind of makes sense. This case study is going to be in the tools and DIY niche. I don't really have any specific reasons why I choose some niches over others, besides from obviously keyword competition, also scalability, and very importantly, knowing and understanding how much you're going to get paid as an affiliate and as someone that owns the content in terms of your ad partners. And in the tools and DIY niche for me is a super interesting niche. I've got a kind of a site in there already, so I understand how the RPMs and the affiliate kind of network partners, etc. So it kind of makes sense. I think moving forward, some of the niches I'll share with my viewers, others maybe I'll keep to myself. It depends. Like if it's usually most niches you can kind of just share with anyone. So this one's going to be in the tools and DIY niche. I'm going to share some of my growth plans. Again, this is going to kind of be like the top level. And as I go through the case study, you'll learn all the specifics that I'm doing, which I think makes more sense as we're kind of going along because you'll figure out what makes sense as I'm growing content and growing links, etc. But for kind of the top level plan, this is what I plan to do in terms of how I grow the asset over the next 12 to 18 months. So first of all, I'm going to focus on lower volume keywords. So essentially for me, that means something that you put into your search tool and doesn't really have much search data. So it could have less than 10 searches, less than 100 searches. Very rarely will I go for anything above 500 because I think in that range, in that space, you're going to be competing against people that obviously going to have a lot higher domain ratings and domain authorities. So it makes it more difficult to kind of rank for those keywords. And the first thing that you want to do for any project that you're starting off from the ground up, especially a new domain, and I think it's all new, and you need to kind of come to Sandbox as well, is to show Google that you're relevant and that you can rank and get traffic from keywords. So to do that, the best thing to do is to kind of go down the scale, the kind of lower volume scale, and find those keywords that most other big competitors aren't really ranking for, and then do a really good job with those keywords and then work your way up. Okay, I've done that very successfully over the last few years. Sometimes I even do that even when the domain isn't starting out from scratch. So even if it's not kind of starting out from zero and needs to come out of Sandbox. Usually I'll do it as well for bigger domains because again, it makes sense. Even if it's got some traction, I still want to rank for new keywords with low search competition just to see if I can actually rank for those keywords within the SERPs or within Google Search Console. So it's a good way to test silos as well. So of course, coming onto that is topical silos. I think over the last probably 12 months, maybe more, topical silos and having silos in general that are very related in terms of each page and these posts to each other has become more of a thing that I can see Google actually giving websites that do it a boost in search traffic. So that's something that I think we're going to be doing from the outset. So all the keyword research is going to be structured and we're going to put it into silos. So again, we're talking about DIY. Let's say we're talking about tools and we're talking about maybe a specific type of tool. Let's say it's like saws, for example. It could be like band saws, it could be like hand saws, it could be like different power saws, etc., etc. So we're going to go through each topical silo and we're going to have just informational articles in each silo. And then we're going to structure out the website and interlink only the silos together. Once that is correctly done and we start to see some results, the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to rank up, but only when we see what's working. So one of the things that I've again been doing over the past and that's done really well is instead of putting loads of content together and then kind of seeing what ranks and spending a lot of time and effort and money having to fork out on content and content costs, we're going to go a bit more slower and steady. And then when we find out what ranks, we're going to go all in. So that's what we're going to do probably nearer the end of the first 12 months. And to give you an idea of what the content plan actually looks like. So for month one, we're going to be doing keyword research, which is kind of this month, right? Keyword research, we're going to create the website, we're going to configure hosting, add the theme, etc., and do some basic EAT, so the contact us page and about us page, terms and conditions and disclaimers, etc. The kind of ground structures that you need for these type of sites. And if you want some more information on that, I'll give you my website where you can kind of engage with me and figure out some of those specifics. Month 2, we're going to be we're going to be adding articles. So the first month is structuring, keyword research, get that all correct. Sometimes the keyword research can take more than a month. It depends on how much content we're adding. But you want to do usually the bulk of the keyword research at the beginning, because then you have a template and then you can add in new content or new silos as you're going along. But of course, if you don't get the keyword research correct initially, then you're going to be creating content in the wrong areas, probably too competitive, and you're kind of wasting your money and your time as well. So get that all correct and configured in month 1. And then month 2, we're going to be adding around 25 articles for the first month, just to make sure that the formatting team and the content team are integrated correctly and everyone understands their job and responsibilities. And then probably we'll rank up as time goes on. We'll add in some internal links as well. For month 3 onwards, we're going to be adding around 40 articles per month. Now, usually, if I'm being honest, I'm a bit more aggressive, but I want to show in this case study 2 things. First off, that you don't need to have a massive budget to make this work, right? That's number 1, because 40 articles, depending if you're writing or kind of buying articles, is very kind of realistic for most people, right? 150 probably a month for 6 months, that's not realistic for most people, depending on your budget. So 40 articles is where we're going to start. We may do a bit more, maybe do a bit less, we'll see. And then by month 9, once we get some traction, I would like to probably start ranking up and maybe do big bulks of articles, because by that point we'll know what's ranking, what's not. The content team and the formatting team will all be synchronized together, and we can just structure out lots more articles all in one bulk. So that's roughly what we're going to do. And then once we get to the month 12 mark, we're just going to review. We'll sit there for a month and we'll say, okay, what has worked, what hasn't worked, what can we double up on, what can we double down on, etc. And hopefully, once that goes in the correct direction, this is what it should kind of look like. So this is a example of one of my websites and its trajectory over the last 4-5-ish months, maybe 6 months. This is a topical silo that we created. We started it maybe the middle of September, and then we've just been adding content, interlinking it correctly, making sure that the search volume is correct, and doing the groundwork to make sure that we rank this content in terms of on-page SEO, etc. And in this YouTube series, I'm going to be sharing with you exactly how we did it, okay? But I just wanted to give you an idea of what it would kind of look like, the upward spike of correctly, topically relevant content, interlinked correctly, and kind of goes up in terms of month-by-month growth. So I think we got to around 2,000 page views in less than maybe 4 or 5 months, which is pretty cool, because again, if you know your RPMs and you're getting paid like $20 or whatever for every 1,000 RPMs, once you've got page views, once you've got your traffic going in the upward trajectory, you can probably gauge how much money you're going to make per month, and then you can reinvest it. Of course, I want to talk about link building. It's a hot topic right now. Sometimes people don't really do any link building, and that seems to work really well. I am kind of in a halfway mark on link building. It depends on the asset that I bought or that I'm looking to build. This particular case study, I will be doing some link building, and I will be doing it semi-aggressively as well, because it's from the ground up, and I won't be buying any domains to redirect in or anything like that, which again, I'll share with my strategies in another video. I'm going to be doing some guest posting and some Haro building, and maybe some PR or press release link building at some stage. And then what I'm going to be doing is sharing with you roughly what and how I do these guest posts for the month 1 to month 6. So we'll be using guest posting services, or I'll be just kind of doing guest posting myself, or outsourcing that process by giving someone like structured ways to guest post. I've got lots of SOPs on how to do that. Happy to share those as well when the time's right. So we'll be doing guest posting for the first 1 to 6 months quite heavily, with some Haro link building as well. If you're familiar with Haro, if you're unfamiliar with Haro, again, I'll shoot a video soon showing you how I kind of do some of my Haro link building and why it's so successful and why it really works. And then from month 6 onwards, excuse me, we'll be still doing Haro link building from the first 6 months, but I think from month 6 onwards, we're going to be ranking it up to the next level. I think with Haro, usually it makes more sense to build links when you've got a little bit more DR. You're not when you're kind of like starting out, because journalists or people will kind of come over to your website and they'll see the structure, they'll see the maybe the domain rating, they'll see your if you're an expert, and usually it makes more sense once you've got some established links to kind of to help your brandings essentially, and you look more reputable. So we'll probably start that a little bit later. And then probably around the month 12 mark, we'll do some PR link building. Personally, I haven't had great success thus far with PR link building, but that's probably because I haven't done much. So again, I'll shoot some videos on why and how that's successful and why that works as the time kind of goes along. In terms of the amount of links we're looking to build, in and around the 10 to 15 links per month, which again, depending on your budget, could be quite aggressive if it depends. And some of these links we're going to be building ourselves, some of them are going to be outsourcing, some of them are going to be paying for, etc. So that's roughly the amount of links we're looking to build per month for the first 12 months. So what's it all going to cost? So our total investment, we're looking to create around 450 articles, and we're roughly in the word bracket of around 1,500 words per post. Some posts will probably be a bit more, some posts maybe a little bit less, but that's the bracket we're aiming for. And we are looking to spend around the 3 cents per word mark per word for every single post. So it averages out to be just above 20K in terms of our content costs. Now, in terms of the per word mark, we probably can get some of that, maybe a little bit less, depending on where we're going in terms of content. It could be a bit more, but I think that's a good bracket for us to be in. It's not really an expert niche where we have to spend 7, 8, 9, 10 cents per word. And these costs don't include formatting either. So these are just your basic everyday articles. And again, this is based across slightly higher, better paying writers and maybe slightly lower informational type writers, etc. So that's our cost for content. In terms of links, again, we're spread generally between guest posting and Harrow links, and we'll be doing pitches ourselves, and we'll also be doing guest posts outreach ourselves as well. But sometimes you're going to get people that are just going to ask for money to place a link, which is fine. Usually around $100 per link is on the cheaper side, like significantly cheaper. But because we're looking to pitch and we'll get some for free, others will pay $250, $350, $400, whatever it's going to be. So on average, it's going to be we've worked out to be around $100, maybe a little bit more for guest posts in terms of each link. And then also, again, Harrow pitching, you can't specifically pay for Harrow links, as you may or may not know. So we're talking about the budget it costs to have someone outreach in our team and respond to all these journalist posts over pretty much every single day, 3 times a day, over 30 days in a month, and obviously the yearly process. So usually it's going to cost in and around the 250, probably a bit more, sometimes $300 per pitch. In terms of getting a successful link back, but we've averaged out around $18,000 we're going to be used for link building over the 12 months. There are other smaller costs as well for us to take into consideration. So we have formatting of these posts, we have some CRO that we're going to be doing probably internally, and some technical SEO that needs to be done on every single post, interlinking, etc., and keyword, etc. So that's roughly around the $2,500 mark. It's important to have these smaller costs in there as well, not just content and links. Because you're going to have other costs as well, like plugins and softwares, etc. But for us, we have a budget of around 40K for this particular project, which I think is reasonable. It's all very well having huge projects and having thousands of posts that you're looking to write, but your budget's like 250K, which is fine if you've got the budget, but most people are going to be obviously down the slightly smaller bracket. If you're in this space and you're looking to invest, it's reasonable to expect to have around the 40K mark. If you're looking to grow and build a scalable website for the long run, and you're obviously looking to build something quality. So this is kind of one of the reasons why I think it's important to follow along for this particular case study, because it's more, I think the numbers are a little bit more realistic in terms of what most people can kind of put together in this particular space and industry at this time. So just to kind of give a rounded edge and a complete picture here, we're looking to probably sell in around the $3,000 per month revenue mark. And that's usually today's estimates in terms of the average of where very good content site website is selling for on most of the marketplaces. You're looking to get around 40x, so 40 times the revenue, monthly revenue in terms of your exit price. So in and around the 120K range we're looking to sell for. Again, you can probably get for a little bit more, possibly a little bit less, depending on the quality of the website, the diversity in terms of your monetization, whether you're solely reliant on organic traffic or you've got email traffic as well as social, etc. But we're averaging at around the 40x mark, and our expected profit is looking to be around the $80,000 mark, which for a 2-year project, and really we're putting the bulk of the work at the beginning, it's not too bad. And bearing in mind that you probably can have 1 or 2 or 3 of these kind of running concurrently, depending on your management skills. So that's kind of the rounded edge of what the case study is going to be like. I hope you can kind of follow along. And I'll be sharing like loads of tips as the kind of case study goes, and continues to move forward. Just a quick reminder of what the kind of website, the YouTube channel is for. It's for beginner affiliate marketers and people that are looking for like growth tips in general. Again, you'll find that as the case study kind of moves forward. And plus, I kind of have a few more case studies that I want to be sharing as well. If you're kind of an investment firm or a high net worth individual, and you're looking to get into the space, hopefully you can follow along and see at scale what the kind of industry and what the results can be like in this particular industry. It's because it's a really interesting space currently to be involved in, and get some exposure to. And also, if you obviously have your own existing content marketing or affiliate site, and you just want to get some tips in terms of what to do and what not to do, feel free to follow along. If you want to get any information about my management kind of firm and my agency and what we specialize in, feel free to head over to nichewebsitemanagement.com. But for now, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.